Hello, everybody, and welcome to my preview of The Mandalorian. I haven't done one of these episodes in a while. Last time I did something like this was for What We Do in the Shadows, and I miss doing it. And I love that show, and I can't wait for the second season so I can get back into it. And I'm going to be doing episode by episode reviews of this show. I can't wait either. The Mandalorian is the first live-action Star Wars TV series ever. Live action, not animated. There has been plenty of animated ones. Clone Wars, Rebels, and Resistance. And this is the first. Well, there was also a Christmas special a long time ago, which it's best forgotten. Trust me, you don't want to know about that. So it's going to be on Disney Plus. And what I want to do is I want to talk about the show, who's doing the show, the synopsis of it, basically what it's about, who's in the show, and then at the end I want to tell you my thoughts about it and what it can do for Star Wars. And I'll explain later what I mean by that. So, away we go. Now, it's going to have 8 episodes. And there's quite a few producers on it. And you know some of them. One is Jon Favreau. We all know who that is. Mr. Star Wars Dave Filoni is going to be doing it. And they're both going to be, executive producer on 8 episodes. There's a few co-producers, title producers, and executive producers. And there's one executive producer who we all know is the infamous Kathleen Kennedy, who has really, in a way, hurt Star Wars. Money-wise, it's okay, but the perception of it has really gone down because of her. It's a fact. I mean, she's the head of Star Wars, so she's the one to take the blame. Just like in sports, the coach takes the blame. And it's not good. So hopefully she doesn't get her mitts in this too much. Hopefully it's just in name only that she's an executive producer, and she lets these guys who know what they're doing, let them do what they do best. Do Star Wars. So, the directors. Let's talk about the directors. Directing episodes, again, there's only 8 episodes. Directing episodes 1 and 5 is Dave Filoni. Mr. Star Wars, as I said before. He's done the Star Wars Clone Wars, Rebels, and Resistance, and he seems to know Star Wars really well. Resistance is not a good show. It is not. Star Wars the Clone Wars, I thought it was okay, and then it got better, and I really enjoyed it by the end. I really enjoyed it. Rebels kind of grew on me. Wasn't great, but it kind of grew on me. And as I said earlier, Resistance is not good at all. That's why our second season is his final season. That tells you everything. And there's going to be another Star Wars Clone Wars season, which is awesome on Disney Plus, so get it. So, now, doing episodes 2 and 6, I hope I don't screw his name up, is Rick Famuyiwa. He produced Dope, he produced The Chi, and directed The Wood, and they're well regarded apparently. So hopefully he does a really good job. I don't know much about the guy. Directing episodes 3 and 7 is Deborah Chow. Deborah Chow's directed Mr. Robot, directed American Gods, which I've seen the first season of it, which I enjoyed. I just never finished it. So much stuff to watch. She's directed Better Call Saul, which all these shows are good. And coming up, she's going to direct the Obi-Wan Kenobi series on Disney Plus. So, sounds like she has some cachet behind her name. Hopefully, she does a good job. I'm rooting for them all. Episode 104. Episode 4. I don't know why I said 104. We have a newcomer, and y'all know her name, Bryce Dallas Howard. She's been an actress in the Jurassic series, Rocket Man, and she was Gwen Stacy in Spider-Man 3, just name a few. But she has not directed anything or produced anything major yet, and this is probably her biggest thing she's done. So I'm rooting for her. I hope she does a good job. And doing episode 8 is our favorite Taika Waititi, and he's one of my favorites, obviously, because I'm a huge fan of What We Do in the Shadows. So I love his humor. It should be interesting to see how it goes. And that's another thing about this. All these episodes directed by different people, except there's a few who has multiple ones. How different are they going to be? I hope they don't differ too much. I hope they kind of stay kind of the same. So, but we'll see. We'll see how that works. So, let's talk about the show. There's a few synopses. Here's one of the synopses is The Mandalorian is the first live-action Star Wars TV series, is what I said earlier. The Mandalorian is set 5 years after the events of Return of the Jedi and follows a lone bounty hunter in the outer reaches of the galaxy as he sets out to collect a particularly difficult prize. So, here's another synopsis. Pedro Pascal will star as a lone Mandalorian gunfighter in the outer reaches of the galaxy and will be joined by Gina Carano, who plays Cara Dune, a former rebel shock trooper having trouble reintegrating herself in society. And Carl Weathers as Grief, a man who heads the guild of bounty hunters that hires the Mandalorian for a specific job. So that's basically the gist of what the show is about. So let's talk about the rest of the show here. The characters of the show. So showrunner Jon Favreau, director Filoni, and the star of the show, Pedro Pascal, explain that the Mandalorian is actually a real Mandalorian, and they will definitely explore the culture of the Mandalorians. Filoni said, Boba Fett is a clone. According to Attack of the Clones, and by asking creator George Lucas, he would say Boba Fett is not a Mandalorian, not born of Mandalore. He's more of a person indoctrinated into the way of life, and gets a hold of the armor. Jango Fett was a renowned Mandalorian bounty hunter, assassin, mercenary, and the father of Boba Fett, a genetic clone of his, whom he raised as a son. Although Fett wore a set of Mandalorian armor during his time as a bounty hunter, the government of the Mandalore regarded him as a renegade and pretender, so he wasn't a real Mandalorian either. So, therefore, Boba Fett was not a real Mandalorian. Something else that separates the Mandalorian from Boba Fett is that Boba Fett was more of a villain, while the Mandalorian, who has a real name but just hasn't been revealed yet, is more like a dark hero. Pascal says, ultimately he wants to do the right thing, but his duties could very much be in conflict with his destiny, and doing the right thing has many faces. It can be a very windy road. Now, the timeline of the show, it's set during a period of chaos following the downfall of the Empire and Return of the Jedi, and long before events in Force Awakens. So it's basically right after, apparently, Return of the Jedi. As I said earlier, the show is 5 years after Return of the Jedi, which is not too long of time, but it's way before Force Awakens. And they say basically he's operating in a much more unforgiving landscape. This is from Favreau. A place where survival is difficult enough, let alone flourishing in that atmosphere, and the politics have dissolved. Its might is right, and how does someone earn a living when there's no structure to society anymore, and everything is collapsing in on itself? How do you work your way through the world? So basically, it seems like it's the Wild West in space, which I'm sold. I mean, to me, that sounds fantastic. So let's talk about the characters, shall we? The main guy, the Mandalorian, is played by Pedro Pascal. And we all know him from Games of Thrones as Oberyn Martell. He was also in Kingman, The Golden Circle, The Great Wall, The Equalizer 2. And he's also coming up in Wonder Woman 1984, which he's done quite a few things, actually. All right, he basically, as I said, he's a lone gunfighter and a bounty hunter. And he's described his character as being Clint Eastwood-esque, with advanced combat skills and a questionable moral character. This guy could be really, really liked by many, many people if they do it right. So, the next character is Gina Carano's Cara Dune. Cara Dune is, like I said, played by Gina Carano, and we know her from Fast and Furious 6, Deadpool, as Angel Dust. And she hasn't really done too much, but a lot of small stuff she's done. And her character is a former rebel shock trooper turned mercenary who fought in the Civil War for the Rebel Alliance. And hopefully, I'm thinking she's going to be the sidekick to the Mandalorian, which is great. That's fine. You know, as long as she doesn't take over, like what happened in Iron Fist 2, where Colleen Wing, it was the Colleen Wing show, and Iron Fist disappeared. So, as long as the Mandalorian is the main guy, I'm good. So, the next character is Greef Karga, who's played by Carl Weathers. We all know Carl Weathers from Rocky 1 through 4 as Apollo Creed, Predator, Happy Gilmore, and quite a few other things. But those are some of the main things he's did. So, we don't know much about the character. We just know that he's the head of the Bounty Hunter Guild, which is very cool. So hopefully he's going to be in multiple episodes. They haven't said. The villain, we don't know his name, but it's played by Werner Herzog, who was in Jack Reacher, the Zek. That's who he played for. And he was also in, strange enough, Simpsons, Park and Recreation, Metalocalypse, and he played lots of voices he's done. And so he's a pretty renowned actor. He's very good. They said he's confirmed that he'll appear in a few episodes of the show's first season, which I'm guessing they want to do more with him. So, the next character is IG-11, and is played by Taika Waititi, who, as I said earlier, does What We Do in the Shadows. He's acted and directed. He did the movie, and he's directed a TV show. He's done Thor Ragnarok. He directed it and played Korg. And coming up, he's in the Suicide Squad. He's in What If, the animated series on Disney Plus. He's obviously doing Thor: Love and Thunder, and one I'm interested in is Jojo Rabbit, which is coming out really soon. It looks really good, and he's going to produce Time Bandits, which is an old cult classic, and hopefully that comes out good. With his sense of humor, it could. So, what is IG-11? IG-11 is a bounty hunter droid, similar to the bounty hunter of IG-88, and we saw a glimpse of him in Empire Strikes Back on the Death Star where Vader was. And he goes, this is what he said, Taika Waititi. I believe he might be a recurring character from the interview he did at the D3 Expo this year. He says the droid has an amazing arc throughout the series, which means he'll be in multiple episodes, which is great. I'm looking forward to that. So, who else do we have? We have Moff Gideon, played by Giancarlo Esposito. And he has been in Breaking Bad as Gustav Gus Fring, Better Call Saul, the usual Suspects, The Jungle Book. So this guy can act. He's really good. He's been in some really good movies. Now, he says about his character, the Empire has basically fallen, so the reputation with bounty hunter is a little tenuous. I think they want to extinguish them because they create disorder. The bounty system means that there's money not coming to them. We want to tax that a little bit, so it will be interesting to see what happens out of that relationship. We all need order in our world, and this is an empire that has fallen. It has no order. So, Esposito, I can't say his name right, has kept quiet about his character alignment, going with the general argument that whether or not he could be seen as good or evil depending on the perspective of the persons interacting with him and the audience watching. So that's really cool. I'm looking forward to seeing that. It seems like he's going to be a recurring character too. So there are other characters that we don't know the character's name, but we know the actors. Nick Nolte is going to be in it. His role remains in the rep. You know him from 48 Hours and its sequel, and he played Jack Gates in it. Prince of Tides, Warrior, Down and Out in Beverly Hills. He's done quite a few things. So, and I couldn't find anything on his character, so I guess keep it under wraps, which is fine. I like to hear, keep everything, some surprises. Another name is Ming-Na Wen, and we know her character again. We don't know anything about it, and we know her mainly from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Mulan's voice. And one thing she did say, though, was, I certainly don't play a farmer. So that could be interesting. Maybe she plays another bounty hunter, which would be very cool. So I'm looking forward to that. Mercenary, bounty hunter, one of those two. So Bill Burr is in this series, which really surprised a lot of people. There's no info on his character. He's been in Breaking Bad as Kubi, and he does a lot of stand-up. Very, very, very controversial, dirty, but funny as hell. I'm going to recommend you watching his helicopter skit. It's just Bill Burr helicopter. It's hilarious. The rumor has it from leaked footage that Bill Burr is seemingly playing a mercenary with dual blasters. In the footage, he's seemingly in a group of mercs. So there's a picture of him sitting there. It seems like that's him walking away. I think it is. And with that Twi'lek looking back. So now here's a funny little story. How Bill got the part? Apparently he ran into Jon Favreau somewhere, and he was like, "Hey, I'm doing this Star Wars." Jon Favreau's telling him, "I'm doing this Star Wars thing. Do you want to do something?" And he was like, "I kind of always made fun of it," and he did. He does. He makes fun of a lot of nerd culture. It's funny, but he likes a few things. I think he's a big fan of One Punch Man. Burr seemed concerned that the optics of him joining Star Wars project would look kind of iffy, but Favreau saw it a different way. Favreau thought, "I think that'd be funny. I think your fans would get a kick out of the fact if you went into that thing." And that's what he recalled Favreau saying. And Bill Burr goes on to say, "Then I went in there, and they were shooting it like a spaghetti western, and I was immediately so psyched to be a part of it." And I also heard the same thing. If it is shot that way, it's going to be awesome. As Bill Burr described in his podcast called The Last Laugh, it was his wife, Nia Hill, who convinced him to take the opportunity. A brilliant woman. I mean, it's a smart move on his part. Apparently, from what he said, she gives the best career advice. He says, "Not that I was going to say no to Jon Favreau, who also directed Iron Man and Lion King, because I don't give a bleep what he was doing. I was going to say yes." So those are the characters in the show. So what is going on with Season 2? Now, why am I saying Season 2? Season 1 hasn't even come out yet. Well, like I said, Werner Herzog's character is going to be only a few episodes in this season, which is meaning they want to put him in the second season. So is there a season 2? So it looks like there's going to be a season 2. Dave Filoni announced that Carl Weathers, who plays Greef Karga in the live-action series, will be directing an episode from season 2. It was also reported a while back that executive producer Jon Favreau would also step behind the camera for an undisclosed amount of episodes. So there you have it. And apparently, I just found this out, filming for season 2 is currently underway, and that they finished the first week of filming. So there you have it. They are already doing season 2. So season 1's in the can, they're doing season 2. Holy crap. That was fast. So, my thoughts. I am very much looking forward to this TV series. This TV series could really give Star Wars a kick in the pants. Now, why? I had said earlier, what it could do for Star Wars. And what I mean by that is Star Wars has taken a big hit recently. It has not been received well. The trailer recently, the Rise of Skywalker just came out, and a lot of people aren't happy with it. A lot. And it's just, the movies have really gone down. I saw the first one. And after I seen the first one, I was like I had a lot of questions. How can Rey do this and that and that? And my brother was with me, and he goes, well, they'll explain it in the second, movie. And I'm like, you know what? That's true. They left a lot of open questions that can be solved in the second movie. I'm good. So I decided, okay, the movie's good for what it is. I enjoyed it. And then the second one came out, and it was poop. And I'm sorry. For me, it was. Maybe if you liked it, great. But it was not a good movie. I mean, I like a lot of stuff that's not good. I do. And I know it's not good. I watch it. And I enjoy it. So, if you liked it, good. But the movie just was not good. It was not good. The fans will tell you. I'm a big Star Wars fan. I did not like it. Rogue One was good. I enjoyed Rogue One. In fact, that's my favorite Star Wars movie. Because Solo came out and Solo bombed. Was it good? It was all right. But it wasn't nothing special. And it bombed. And it scared Disney. And that's why I said infamous Kathleen Kennedy. She's in charge of all this, and they're just making wrong step after wrong step after wrong step, and apparently even George Lucas is not happy with it. So that tells you everything. So they have a problem on their hands with this, and I'm hoping, beyond all hope, that The Mandalorian will give it the kick it needs, and people will just all right, this is what I want, and then hopefully Obi-Wan will do the same thing. They have a Cassian Andor series being done, which I hope they make very gritty also. And I hope they do well with that too, because I really want Star Wars to succeed because I enjoy it. I enjoyed it since I was a kid, and I still want to enjoy it. And all my hopes are here in The Mandalorian. So those are my thoughts. So what do you think of The Mandalorian? Are you looking forward to it? And remember, it's coming out on Disney Plus on November 12th. That's when Disney Plus comes out. That's the first episode, and I will be doing a review of that. I can't wait for it. So what do you guys think? Are you looking forward to it? Are you not looking forward to it? Are you hoping the same thing as me? Are you hoping it's going to give it the Star Wars a kick in the butt that it needs? And hopefully it does. I really do hope it does. So thank you very much for listening and watching. I do appreciate it. I hope you liked what you heard. And leave a like if you did. And subscribe so you continue on hearing some of my reviews and previews. And again, like I said, I'll be doing reviews of The Mandalorian when it comes out. So thanks again, guys. And I will see you all again on my previews and reviews. Bye-bye.